Fuck. Taking a closer look, whatever you want to call it. We are going to start a series that, when did the first one come out? 82, 81?
I think it was 81, wasn't it? Or am I wrong?
It'll pop up. Anyway, there's been several sequels. We're going to go through all of them, but can't start without the first one. And the series we're going to start is Rambo. And the first one was called First Blood.
First Blood, man.
Which was based on a book. I can't remember the author's name. But I remember him saying that he came up with Rambo. It was the name of an apple. And, you know, given our work background, I don't ever remember a Rambo apple, but whatever. But anyway, you know, the book came and they decided to do a movie. And this was passed on by a lot of actors, if I remember right.
Well, because as far as the book goes, I mean,
it's a pretty graphic book.
Yeah, so there might have been some actors who maybe at certain stages were not...
A little hesitant.
Yeah.
Well, it fell in Stallone's lap. Stallone decided to do it, which is ironically his first hit outside of Rocky.
Rocky, yeah.
And it was another franchise for him, basically. Even though I think in the book he's killed off. I can't remember. And then I think they shot in the end that he was killed. But, yeah, obviously they went a different way.
That was the alternate, yeah.
To make some money. Anyway, the movie starts, I think, the same way as the book. Now, I haven't read the book. I've read some clip notes of it, so I'm not really... But I think it starts the same way. Stallone, Rambo's kind of a drifter.
Yes.
He's, you know, walking. It starts at this house that's by a lake, and he's basically going to see an army buddy.
Yeah, he's a Vietnam vet, and I don't think we get a clear understanding of how long he's been back in the States.
I don't think they say, you know, yeah, they don't go into that. It's just almost like either he's been back for a little while and he decides...
Just sort of drifting around.
Yeah, he's drifting and, you know, this is the only guy that's made it out of his unit.
Right.
So he wants to go see him. He goes up to this woman who I believe is his wife, but I don't think they ever say.
Excuse me, can you tell me this where Delmar Barry lives?
He ain't here. Go on inside, baby.
Oh, he's a friend of mine. As a matter of fact, he wrote this address down. Right here. There. You can see that's Delmar's writing. I'm sure I had a hard time finding this place.
Yeah, that's his writing.
Well, like I said, he's a friend. My name is John Rambo. We served on the same team together in Nam.
I think it's heavily inferred it was his wife, yeah.
So he's looking for, you know, the guy, and she said, well, he's not here.
What time will he be back?
When will he be back? And, well, he won't be back because
He died.
What?
Died last summer.
Died how?
Cancer. Brought it back from Nam. All that orange stuff, they spread it around. Cut him down to nothing. I could lift him off the sheet.
Very sorry.
And you could just tell when he hears that, it just almost like there's nothing left.
Yeah, I think I've read before that it's one of the first, if only, times you ever see the character smile because he's looking forward to seeing his friend.
Yeah.
You know, and after that...
It's all downhill after that. So he's just drifting again, walking alongside the highway. Then you get to the town of Hope, which is a fictional town. I think they filmed it in British Columbia, But and then we get
Ironic, isn't it?
the
whole
yeah. And then you get a scene of one of the main antagonists of the film.
Your
buddy.
Morning.
Brian Dennehy.
Brian Dennehy, man. It's the sheriff, which, and it's great that they put this stuff in movies because you sort of see the character does sort of care about his town.
Yeah.
He goes to his car, he says good morning to people, but then of course he backs up and he says something to one guy, you take a bath lately or something. So you can tell he's got this arrogance.
He's got an
to
edge
it.
Yeah,
he's got a little bit of cockiness. He loves his town, but he's not going to mix words with you.
No, and he knows he's in charge in that town.
This is my town.
Yep.
Yeah. I'm the sheriff. That's a different movie. So Stallone's walking into town. He starts driving and he notices him. So he says, "Hey, good morning." Hey, but you can tell right away he just doesn't seem like he's happy that he's coming in his town.
Yeah.
You visiting somebody around here? Wearing that flag on that jacket, looking the way you do. You're asking for trouble around here, friend.
And then he's like, "Where you headed?" And he said north.
Now jump in. I'll make sure you head in the right direction, huh?
And then this is, of course, where the line in the sand is drawn.
Where you headed?
Portland.
Portland is south. You said you were headed north.
You got someplace I can eat around here?
There's a diner about 30 miles up the highway.
Is there any law against me getting something here?
Yeah, me.
Basically, yeah, he tells him you're a drifter and we don't want you here.
Why are you pushing me?
What did you say?
So why are you pushing me? I haven't done anything to you.
First of all, you don't ask the questions around here. I do. You understand? Secondly, we don't want guys like you in this town. Drifters. First thing you know, we got a whole bunch of guys like you in this town. That's why.
I don't want you in my town.
And at first, I wonder the character. I don't know if it's established that he knows that Rambo is a vet.
He knows he's a vet, but he doesn't know yet that he's like Green Beret, ex-war.
But, it's sort of strange, just as an aside, that he doesn't respect
the flag, really,
because he is in a position of authority himself.
Yeah, you would think, I respect. Yeah, hey, look, I'll let you eat here. I'll let you do what you need to do.
No vagrancy, though.
You cause any problems, I'm going to put you in jail.
Yeah.
I'd have been okay with that threat.
Yeah.
But to just say, "Oh, get out of my town," and then so he drops him off at the edge of town.
Portland, straight ahead. If you want some friendly advice, a haircut and take a bath. You wouldn't get hassled so much. Hope this ride helped you out.
Yeah.
And, you can just tell like Rambo's got really nothing going on.
Yeah.
So he does kind of push back. He could have just left town. We wouldn't have a movie then or a book. Could have just left town, but no, I'm going to push it.
Have a nice day, huh?
Yeah. So he's walking back into town. Of course, he sees him, turns around.
Where the hell do you think you're going?
Tries to stop him.
Let me see some ID.
And grabs him first. So really, if you want to get down to it, he put his hands on him first. He yanks back. Oh.
All right, you're under arrest. You hear me? Now put your hands on the car. Now you put your hands on the car and you spread them.
Okay, well, it's a little sketchy, but whatever. And then we get to see the famous knife.
Yeah, the Rambo knife.
Yeah.
Well, what do we have here, huh? Why would you be carrying a knife like this?
Hunting.
Don't be a wise guy. What do you hunt with a knife?
Aim it.
Yes, which the more we do this, you'll notice how big of this damn thing gets.
I really want to get a replica of that.
Of the original knife.
Yeah, yeah.
As it gets bigger, it kind of gets a little, especially like the third one. It looks like a machete, for God's sake.
Well,
But anyway, so yeah, he sees the knife and he takes him into the police station. But he says he's a drifter. I think he's charging him for.
Book this gentleman for vagrancy, resisting arrest, carrying a concealed weapon. He says he uses it for hunting.
Hunting? What do you hunt? Elephants?
I mean, all of it's bogus. You're like carrying a concealed weapon. I guess you could get him on that because it was concealed. Well, he wasn't going to use it.
yeah. Well, and in a small town like this, there's no police policing the police. There's no oversight, so.
And again, it's his town.
It's his
He's
town.
showing his authority. Yeah. So they take him downstairs to book him.
Okay, here we go.
And one of the guys asks him,
Name? Your name?
he looks at the window and he has that
Your
flashback
name.
of Vietnam
Yep.
because he's a prisoner. He was a prisoner of war, basically. So he obviously he's going to have a little psyche
Some
problem.
PTSD, yeah.
So, and of course they don't understand that. And I think at one point one of the cops is going to grab his dog tag. Stallone grabs his hand. Well, then the guy jumps up and he's going to hit him in the face with his nightstick. Well, that's a little excessive, but so they get his dog tag. They find out his name.
What do you know about the old Harry here's a soldier? Rambo. John Jay?
They book him and they're trying to get his fingerprints. He won't let him fingerprint him.
Now just roll it across. Roll it across. Oh, man.
Push it.
It won't work that way. It'll only smear. Now roll it across.
And then the sheriff comes back down.
Just what is your problem, huh? Now listen, hard ass. As things stand right now, you're facing the ass end of a 90-day incarceration plus a $250 fine, which you don't look to me like you can pay. At 10 o'clock tomorrow morning, you're going up in front of that judge. And you think we're tough. Now, we're going to make you a little bit more presentable for your courtroom appearance. Now, between now and then, you can just impress the hell out of me by doing exactly as you're told.
$200 back then was a lot
Back
of money.
in the 80s, and then he's a war vet. You know, it's not like he had money falling out of his pocket.
None of these guys had any respect. I mean, with the
For
dog
the
tags.
flag.
Yeah, with the dog tags and all, you figure one of these guys would be like, you don't want to do that.
You know, one of, what was it, Mitch? He felt bad for him.
Yeah.
Because what? So he says clean him up, so they're going to give him back. Well, instead of letting him
put
take
your
a
hands on
shower
top of
like a
your
normal
head and turn
person, they
around.
get a fire hose out,
Like, yeah, pretty much.
spraying down. Like, I mean, really? Do we really have to go this far? And then, so it gets to the point where they want to shave him. And again, to me, if they had just relaxed and given him a minute, he probably would have done what they asked. So like, sit down. He doesn't want to sit down.
All right, sit down. Sit down. Oh, sit down. Son, we just took the hard way. Come on. Damn, this boy's hard to get a hold of.
And if you grab anybody from behind,
Right.
they're gonna, freak out.
And it's one thing after another,
And
too.
then you
It's-
start-
there's- like you said, there's no rest in between.
Yeah, and he's freaking out. He's having flashbacks. They're gonna shave him dry.
That's okay, Warren. Don't worry about the soap. He's tough. Just shave him. Dry.
How blind are you? Can't you see this guy's crazy?
Can't you see I don't give a shit?
Yeah, I can see that.
Good. That's better. See there. I knew he'd...
Just to prove a point.
Yeah.
Well, he has a flash finally, that's it, he snaps.
Don't move. I don't want you to cut your own throat.
Takes on, four guys at once, takes them out. And then,
Yeah. Oh, I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
Yeah, just one of the older guy, I think his name is Jack Sterrett. He's sort of like I think he sort of represents Dennehy's one of his chief lieutenants.
Probably one of his good friends, because that's the one that falls.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, and but he gets away. I think there's a part in there where he's escaping. There's one of the cops. He trips him and then elbows him.
Yeah.
Stallone, they say really elbowed, not on purpose, but did really elbow him and break his nose. So they obviously put that in. Yeah. So he gets out, hijacks a motorcycle. They're chasing, and it's a pretty good chase scene, actually. Yeah. There's a scene where the car goes flying over these railroad tracks. Well, evidently, when they first shot it, I read this too, that car went so high, they had no idea. And it actually crashed so hard that the stunt driver broke his back. Like, he jumped out of the car and completely collapsed because his... the pressure on his spine, he had lost mobile in his leg. He got him back. He didn't end up paralyzed, but yeah, he jumped out of the car and completely collapsed. Like he broke his back. So they reshot it because they're like, there's no way anybody's going to believe this car went 20 feet in the air, which is pretty cool.
Well, yeah, but they were trying to keep it. Yeah, this wasn't Rambo 12 yet.
Yeah, it was even 2.
Yeah, well.
So they're chasing him. They go through. Basically go in these back roads in this country. It looks like Stallone gets away, but Dennehy knows the back ways pretty well. He's back on his tail. Well, as they're going this one way, the car flips over, which I heard that was an accident too, but they left it in. Flips over. He gets to the top of the hill. Dennehy's yelling at him like,
"You're finished! You've gone as far as you're gonna go!
Yeah.
So he gets up there and he's cold because it's cold there. And I heard it was really cold there too. And he says Stallone never got sick because he wore that sleeveless shirt the whole time. The only time he got sick was someone offered him a shot of brandy. So he said
that's when he got sick. Yeah.
But so he's trying to find something for survival because that's what he did. Yeah. And he finds that cloak or that old skin and, so he ties it, all that. So he's trying to get away from them. The other deputies show up with the dogs. They're on his trail. Stallone, Rambo gets to a cliff. He's stuck.
Right.
So he tries to go back, but they're right there. So he's got to go down the cliff, which is a great scene. The helicopter shows up with your buddy. And they see him on there, and he's shooting at him.
Oh, steady, you son of a bitch!
God, come in, goddammit!
And they don't even Denny. Says like, "Don't shoot him," but he's shooting at him.
Right.
And finally, he's like, "I got him."
I got
it. Don't move. Well, then Stallone jumps into the trees. This fascinates me. Like, I don't think he did the jump from the top to the trees, but he definitely did the fall between the branches.
He does.
He definitely did that. And he said he did it like 8 or 9 times. And he's like, guys, I think we got it. And then he did it for 12 times.
Jesus!
Would have been the first
and
time for me.
That's why he yells. That's not acting. He said that was a lot of pain. So he said it was really easy to act that way. So, and I don't think they show that he does any of that. They just put a big cut on his arm. And then they're still trying to shoot him.
There's Soldier Boy!
Through the trees, they're going back and forth shooting him. Well, then he picks up a rock.
And that's when he throws it and he loses control of the helicopter.
And then he falls out.
Starrett's character falls out,
Man, that's a pretty gruesome scene where he picks him up and you can almost feel like he's flashbacking again.
Yeah.
he runs off and he's basically patched himself up. I want that knife because it's got the compass and the sew kit, you know, even though I don't go out in the woods that much, but you know.
And that would be a cool idea, I tell you.
So they see that Dennehy and the other deputies see that he had gotten killed. They can't really figure out what happened, but they obviously blame Rambo. Rambo comes out and tells them,
There's one man dead. It's not my fault. I don't want any more hurt.
and they shoot at him.
Freeze! Stand right where you are. Give yourself up.
But I didn't do anything.
I'm warning you, boy. Don't make a move. I'll blow your head off.
I didn't do anything. Oh!
They won't stop.
And they wounded him on the head. That's when you get the bandana from now on.
Yeah.
We got to be cool, you know, kind of sewer. But so they're saying they're gonna hunt him down because Dennehy wants revenge now. He's gotta, you know,
it wasn't bad enough before. Now it's,
you know, you would think you get to that point, like, you know, he really didn't do anything. We're really going up, you know, down a path here I don't want to go down. Let's just let him go. He'll leave, and that'll be the end of it.
we've lost so much already. You lost one of your best friends.
Well, and even then, okay, so they're back on his trail. They think they found him, although I feel like they're a bunch of idiots. They couldn't tell that wasn't a scarecrow there. So they start shooting him. He kills the dogs, Rambo does, and then he shoots the old man, which I did feel bad for the old man.
Yeah.
Well, he's like, we're going to get him.
All right, now listen up. We're right on top of him. We're going to form a skirmish line, 50 feet apart. And keep moving. There's no way out of here except through us.
One by one, Rambo stealth injures him. Doesn't kill him, but injures him.
Yeah.
He didn't even shoot anybody. Like, one of the deputies shoots the deputy. Yes. Like, God dang it.
Somebody help me!
And then he warns Dennehy.
I could have killed them all. I could have killed you. Been telling you the law. Out here, it's me. Don't push it. Don't push it, I'll give you a war you won't believe. Let it go. Let it go.
I love that scene where he's like, don't push it.
Yeah.
I'll give you a war you won't believe. You would think even after that, he got away. I don't know where he went. Let's just move on. No, this pride thing. We're gonna get this son of a gun.
Yeah, I don't care if whatever I got to do to.
I love and again, it just shows like guerrilla aspects of it. See him killing the pig. They have a camp set up, I guess, nearby. Dennehy's getting some attention, and one of the state police guys comes and says something like, "You really killed over out there." And he's like, "It's my problem now." And they get into an argument about jurisdiction or whatever. Well, then he's like, "Who possessed God to create Rambo?" And then
God didn't make Rambo. I made him.
Yeah, Richard Crenna, man. I did.
I love that too, where he's like, "I come to get my boy."
Your boy.
Your boy. And tells him everything.
You don't seem to want to accept the fact that you're dealing with an expert in guerrilla warfare. With a man who's the best. With guns, with knives, with his bare hands. A man who's been trained to ignore pain, ignore weather, to live off the land, to eat things that'll make a billy goat puke.
Even major city police would have a tough time with this guy, but we're talking small town police.
Well, but I mean, they did call state police, but it seemed like a lot of them were volunteers from the town. Weekend warriors. Didn't he say that at one point? We'll get to that.
Yeah.
So anyway, Trautman, that's his name. He's trying to convince him, hey, just let him go, diffuse the situation. You'll pick him up somewhere down the road. Diffuse it. But of course, no. And he says, well, listen, he's got a radio. Why don't you try to bring him in if you want him unhurt? So, I love that too, where he does the call signs from Vietnam.
Covey leader calling Raven. Come on, Raven.
trying to identify the Baker team or whatever, and it just about seemed like they're going to give up.
They're all gone, sir.
It's him. Get on it.
Rambo, are you all right? Over.
Baker team, they're all dead, sir.
That's a great scene, you know, the back and forth. He's like, let me bring you in.
I can't do that, sir.
Well, look, John, we can't have you running around out there wasting friendly civilians.
There are no friendly civilians.
They drew first blood, not me. But I love how he tells him too. He's like, you know, you done you know, I'm getting you out of trouble. He said,
Seems like bailing you out of trouble is getting to be a lifetime job for me.
There wouldn't be no trouble except for that king shit cup.
All I wanted was something to eat. But the man kept pushing, sir.
Well, you did some pushing of your own, John.
They drew first blood, not me.
well, there wouldn't be trouble if it wasn't for the sheriff.
That's right.
I just wanted something to eat. And of course, they drew first blood. But anyway, so they basically think, you know, and if Dennehy thinks, oh, we got him now. I know where he's at. We're going to get him.
He's all finished, Colonel. Got a real good fix on him, though. Come first light, I'm going to put every man I got up on that ridge. Now we'll get him my way. All right, now look down. I want you to stretch a skirmish line right across this ridge. Son of a... God damn it.
Whatever. So, and I think there was a scene they cut, but while he was sleeping, he had a dream, a flashback, and then he woke up and he was crying, but they cut that out.
No, that
I
one
wish
I
they
had.
would have added that in there.
Yeah.
But anyway, so then I love the music or whatever, where all the National Guard or whatever, they're walking up the hill, and it's almost like a drum, like in the old where they had drummers where they were preparing for battle. That's what it felt like.
Now with those guys, you know, at that point, then you might get a little run for your money.
I don't know, man, because like I said, it just seemed like they were weekend warriors. Yeah, they spotted Stallone, which there was a great scene where he comes up on a kid.
Yeah.
And, you know, he grabs him first and he has a knife on him, but then he lets him go. In the book, from what I understand, the clip notes that I read, there are just parts in the book where it takes a long time for them to get to that point where they're going to send the National Guard. He's out there for weeks just tapping civilians off right and left. Listen, I get what they were going for, PTSD and all that, but I don't think anybody would want to see Stallone just standing in trees, just got him.
Could you imagine like Paul Newman, you know, at negotiation, but him probably passing because you don't want to see Paul Newman out there cutting people's heads off.
No. They go over there, they chase him to the mine that he was sleeping in. So then he's like, nobody shoot. And they're just shooting like crazy. And then, so they shoot and finally they're like, let's just blow him up. That's what I think, like they're weekend warriors. They don't know what the hell they're doing. They just got lucky. And so they shoot the grenade launcher and there. Stallone runs in there. You know, is he dead? Is he not dead? Or whatever. Well, then he gets there. It's like, what the hell is going on here?
Steady? Got it. All right, Nick, one more for Soldier of Fortune. Soldier of Fortune? Yeah, I don't know.
Damn it! What the hell do you think this is? Some kind of a circus?
So, and he tells the guy, like, you're going to have to dig him out of there.
I mean, you can't get a dozer up here. You're going to have to find somebody to dig him out.
Well, it's your mess, Clinton. You clean it up.
Will, come on. I got to be back at the drugstore tomorrow.
You better get started right away, Clinton.
You know, and that's the thing, the vast majority of the film, then he's always got his cronies doing his work for him.
Oh, of course. So he gets into it with Trautman, you know, talking about that, you know, what do you mean he was a Green Beret? He got buried in a hole by a bunch of weekend warriors. Well, Trautman kind of suspects that he might be alive,
of course,
which you see that he did survive. And, you know, he's, again, trying to get... So, obviously, he can't go out the way he came. He's got to ride it out to the other side of the mine shaft or whatever. And, of course, you see him. He's going through there. Has a run-in with rats. Which I think in the book, it was... he's bats, I think, or something.
Oh, I take the bats over the rats.
Dude, that was a scary scene, especially when they started biting. But then there's a great scene too, because then he goes back to his office, and you can tell he's just dejected that he didn't get to kill Rambo. Then he goes to meet Trautman at the bar, and they have a back and forth. So that's a great scene too. Well, Stallone finally gets out.
Yeah.
Jumps on an army truck, and he's coming back to town to bring war. So yeah.
Drive. Don't look at me, look at the road.
That's how accidents happen. Hey, get out of the truck.
I got no beef with you. Go on, move, go on!
And, goes through a roadblock, gets to town, blows up the damn gas station. It's all war after that.
At that point, they push him so far. At that point, he's pretty much too far.
It's over. Yeah, he's going to tear the town apart. But again, I like the aspect where he's not going back and just capping civilians.
Right. I mean,
he's doing property damage. He's proving a point. This is your town. I'm tearing it to the ground.
Yeah.
I love he goes to the ammo shop and just blows that thing up.
Yeah, it's all. I mean, I was directed towards technically one man, then again.
Yeah.
But
now the town's going to pay. Like, they're going to pay, and they're going to pay with money.
Oh, God.
And, then he's on the roof, and it just seems like he's always, misses where he's at. He looking, gone, looking, God doggone it, So, finally, he just puts it, once he starts just shooting the police station, just to hell.
Yeah.
That M60... And then he's finally like, all right, I'm just going to wait till he runs across the window. Which, again, why do you not think about, if you see that ladder going up to the roof, you think somebody's going to put two and two together? He's yelling at him to finish him.
You crazy son of a bitch! Finish Rambo!
Trautman comes back, tells him don't do it. He's saying it's sealed off.
Think about what you're doing. The building perimeter's covered. No exits. There are nearly 200 men out there and a lot of M16s. You did everything to make this private war happen.
And this is one of the more powerful scenes of the film because, he's telling him it's over.
Nothing is over! Nothing! You just don't turn it off! It wasn't my war! You asked me, I didn't ask you! And I did what I had to do to win, but somebody wouldn't let us win! And I come back to the world, and I see all those maggots at the airport, protesting me, spitting, calling me baby killer and all kinds of vile crap! Who are they to protest me, huh? Who are they? Unless they've been me and been there and know what the hell they're yelling about!
And then, great, first, and he's right, he's talking about that. And they did this a lot. They protested the soldiers.
Yes. Back there, I could fly a gunship. I could drive a tank. I was in charge of $1 million equipment. Back here, I can't even hold a job. Fucking cars! Ah!
Yeah, there you go. And then that scene where he talks about his friend,
I can't. Oh, just. Oh, God. Where's everybody? Remember Dan Forrest? He wore his black headband. I took one of his magic markers and I said it found. He mailed us to Las Vegas because we were always talking about Vegas and this fucking car. This red 58 Chevy convertible. He's talking about this car. He said we're going to cruise till the tires fall off. Go in this bar inside, guys. And this kid comes up. This kid carrying a shoe-shine box. And he says, shine, please, shine. I said, no. He kept asking, yeah. And Joey said, yeah. And I went to get a couple of beers, and the box is wired, and he opened up the box, fucking blew his body all over the place. And he's laying there, and he's fucking screaming, there's pieces of him all over me, just like this, and I'm trying to pull him off, and it's my friend that's all over me.
it's just sad. And then, you know, Trautman kind of is that father, you know, embraces.
Yeah, outside of his army buddy, is the only one left in the world that has any compassion for him is his former commanding officer.
And it's great. And honestly, if they ended it, walks him out. He's in cuffs, obviously, but Trautman's walking him out in that song, and it just ends. If they'd ended it that way, it'd have been fine. But of course, they didn't. And some of the sequels are good, and I know we'll get into that down the road. But that's our taking a closer look at First Blood 1. What do you rate it?
It's, you know, I'll tell you what, I know here within the last year and a half, I think we rated all the Rambo films at one point. We did a video
sometime on the channel, yeah.
Yeah. And, you know, I was really hyped up. You know, you watched that video, and even, you know, I was like wrapped up in part 2, First Blood Part 2. And you got to understand, I think I made the argument on that video that it was a big part of my childhood. And you told me, well, Joe, why don't you revisit the first one? Because that's, I mean, just the meat on the bone there. And I rewatched it, and I got to tell you, it is one of the greatest, not just action, it was dramatic action films contemporary of the last 40, 50 years.
Yeah.
Honestly, man, if I could give it 20 out of 10, I would do that.
Well, it's interesting, too, because they filmed it, and I think the first cut, if I read right, and again, I'm not an insider, but somehow it was like almost 3 hours. Stallone has all this dialogue, and Stallone hated it and tried to buy it from the production company so he could burn it. He thought it would kill his career. And when the studio says, no, we're going to release it, well, he just said, I got one suggestion. Cut me out of the film.
Right.
Let the other characters talk about me. And that's how they do a lot of action movies now. They didn't do that before. You know, Schwarzenegger was the forefront of the movie. You know, not Bryan Cranston. Was it the Ten Commandments?
Oh, Charlton Heston.
Charlton Heston. He ain't no taking no backseat.
No, I mean,
no, and yeah, I it's one of my favorites. It's one of the reasons why I am a big Stallone fan. That and, you know, his other series, but yeah, First Blood to me is one of my favorites.
If it was a 3-hour film, I'd be fine with it. Now, I understand the whole dialogue part because the character of John Rambo is a different creature. Obviously, he's not what they were going for in this, and I think in reality it was that he wasn't. You're not going to be a car salesman, a talker.
Yeah.
You know. So yeah.
If you haven't checked it out, check it out. If you have, let us know what you think about it. And there you go. We'll see you in First Blood Part 2.
Nothing is over.
It's a long road